Just a quick little video for y'all. Machiavelli said that a good prince would study the art of war if they wanted to be an effective leader. Well, that's a lot harder today, because not everyone can just go to war on a horse. But studying the art of war is still something that can be done with relative ease. I feel that these three books represent Machiavelli's ideology when it comes to learning about actual warfare. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. When Machiavelli said to study the art of war, it's pretty likely he didn't actually mean this exact book. The title's just a nice coincidence. But if you want to talk about pragmatic advice about fighting, this book is second to none. Written in the 5th century, The Art of War is a collection of teachings by an ancient war theorist named Sun Tzu. He was such a good teacher that there are stories that he could teach dainty ladies of the court to be wise in the ways of war. The book talks about lots of cool stuff, like spies and when to use them, using fire to annihilate your enemies, and it also covers something he calls the 9 situations, which are essentially 9 commonly occurring events that a general might find themselves in, and it details how to properly navigate them. This book is incredibly literal. If you're learning about how to fight an enemy when you're sitting on top of a hill, it'll teach you how to fight an enemy when you're sitting on top of a hill. Machiavelli would enjoy this book because it's very similar to The Prince in the sense that it's not some piece of dogma you're supposed to consume. It is literal advice on how to deal with specific situations you might encounter if you were fighting a war. Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. If you can get past him being a raging homophobe and notable bigot, Orson Scott Card actually has written a book that really shows how military theory can be applied to something smaller than an army. Seriously, this book is about a 7-year-old playing laser tag, but it's still relevant if you want to be a good military leader. For instance, in the first chapter, the main character is about to be beat up by 3 bullies, so rather than try and take them all in a straight fight, he cheap shots the lead bully and humiliates him by kicking his teeth in. What does this teach us? Well, it teaches us that you don't always have to beat your enemy, just demoralize them. The other bullies aren't willing to fight someone who's clearly willing to do a cheap shot, and I mean, after your leader gets so thoroughly trounced, you're kind of scared to take on the guy who beat him. If the book teaches you one thing, it's that victory and honor rarely coexist. If you want to beat your enemy, you don't have to kill every person in their army, you just have to play dirty and make some brutal decisions, and hopefully it'll lead to winning. Surprise, surprise, I'm telling you to read Game of Thrones, but seriously, these books are great if you want a fictionized intro into navigating political intrigue. I won't go into spoilers too much, but these books show that honor doesn't guarantee victory. If you can't play the game and see how to navigate the court, you aren't going to last. I understand that these books have less to do with actual warfare, but I'm going to argue that warfare is not all fighting. Sometimes it's about not fighting. Why go to war with a country when you can just have their leader assassinated and assume his armies for your own? Why bother sending your own men to fight when you convince someone else you don't like to do it for you? War is not about the biggest armies fighting smaller armies. It's about manipulating the circumstances until your loss is impossible, and these books highlight that very well. These are the 3 books that I think Machiavelli would suggest if you wanted to learn more about the art of war. If you liked this video, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see anything else from me, just leave a comment below.